Joining us in the studio with me is Arun Anand, senior journalist who understands the workings of the BJP very well. We have R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist with us from Bangalore. Andrew Whitehead, writer and senior journalist with us from London. And we have Amy Kasman, Financial Times' South Asia Bureau Chief, joining us from New Delhi. Also Suman C. Raman, senior journalist with us from Chennai. Good evening to all of you and welcome to this broadcast. As we look at these images, people still coming in. That's the German ambassador, I think, to India. A lot of dignitaries are expected to be present. And then there are some notables, those who will not be present here. The Pakistani head of state has not been invited. That's a conscious decision that this government has taken. They've focused on BIMSTEC and not SAARC as they did the last time. Arun Anand, let's begin with you. There's been a lot of speculation, and Narendra Modi said it last weekend when he addressed some of these first-time MPs, and he said, beware of the rumours doing the rounds. Do not listen to those people. Some in the media behave as if they were sitting next to me when I was making the list of ministers. Do not believe them. You will know when the time comes. What do you expect from Modi 2.0? There's been a lot of buzz, but no one knows for sure.
See, I think the bottom line is, and which is compulsion of the politics, whether it is Narendra Modi or anybody else, its loyalty is the key, competency is value addition. So he is going to see people who are loyal to the government, people who have been loyal to him, and people who have been largely loyal to the party also. And I think, but there are some major slots which are going to be vacant, like Arun Jaitley is not going to be in the government. Then Manoj Sinha has lost, Uma Bharti has not contested. And interesting thing would be to see whether Sushma Swaraj gets a berth or whether she'll be replaced. I think it is going to be, you're going to see a substantial number of new ministers. Some of the previous ministers will also be dropped on the basis of, I think, performance also, because BJP did face some problem in some areas because of the lack of performance of some ministers. It was really the Modi factor which had to pull it through. So they would be looking at some of the crucial ministries. My sense is also that probably as we'll go ahead over the next few months or couple of years, we are going to see a reorganization of the administrative structure.
Right.
Some of the ministries, the form in which we see there is a division of ministries or there is an organization of ministries. So I think we are going to see. Last time it was, as soon as they had come, they had worked on Niti Aayog when they converted Planning Commission into Niti Aayog. And to my knowledge, Narendra Modi has been in favor of reorganization of the administrative structure. So I think that is what we are going to witness also.
Right. I want to dwell on the venue for a bit. This is the Rashtrapati Bhavan. In terms of area, it is the largest residence of a head of state in the world. It took 17 years to complete. It has 700 million bricks and 3.5 million cubic feet of stone with a minimal usage of steel. Now, it's interesting to note that this structure was designed, the architect of this was the British architect Sir Edwin Lutyens, and the term Lutyens is used in a different connotation now in Indian political circles, but this is the venue where the oath-taking ceremony is taking place, due to begin shortly. We can see some of these ministers, some of those who won, who were part of the cabinet the last time, part of the Council of Ministers rather. Makrand Paranjpe is also with us, I'm told. He's the director of the Indian Institute of Advanced Studies with us from Shimla. Professor Paranjpe, we're looking at these images from Rashtrapati Bhavan. We're also talking about the architect of this structure, Sir Edwin Lutyens, and much has been said about the Lutyens culture of politics and power structure in Delhi. And yet we are looking at the participation of people, 8,000 people. This has moved, the ceremony has moved out from the Darbar Hall to where more people can participate. People from different walks of life have been invited, and that is one message, that a very strong one that goes out.
Indeed. In fact, I'm joining you from what's called Rashtrapati Niwas, because this was the vice-regal palace in Shimla where the British ran their government for 4 or 5 months of the year. And obviously what we've seen is the immense democratization of India, not only after colonialism, after we threw out the British, so to speak, but also in these last several years and decades where gradually the base of democracy has increased. And what this election marks, in my view, is an unprecedented affirmative, you might say, gesture, where you can't divide people anymore in terms of language, community, caste, region, and so forth, because this was the arithmetic, if not arithmetic, at least the calculus of Indian politics all these days. But now we see that all classes of people have come out in support of Narendra Modi, as well as significant populations of Muslims and other minorities. In fact, we now know that in several so-called Muslim-dominated constituencies, BJP candidates won. And that could only be if a sizable number of Muslims, up to 50% of the constituency, actually voted with the BJP. So I think this is unprecedented. What it seems to me is that Indians want to be seen as Indians, and our interests are similar. It's not as if my interests, as a UP wala, are different from the interests of somebody else in Bengal. I mean, there's a narrative shift which is unprecedented, and I think Indians want to be seen as one, and not just that, it's a question of common aspirations. And I completely agree that the third component, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and now Sabka Vishwas, is what this next 5 years is going to be about. Inclusiveness, bringing in people from all areas, parts of India, languages, religions, communities together, and in a way giving them this vision that it is possible. We can have a great country and we can make a difference.
Absolutely. Inclusive is something that this government is focusing on. And yet, Andrew Whitehead, there are two sides to this coin. Some say that when you talk about India as a young country, and so the cabinet, the average age of the cabinet should be lower. When you talk about gender representation, minority representation, at some level it amounts to tokenism and virtue signaling. People should be given posts because they can deliver in those posts, and not because X person is a woman or a minority representative or a younger person.
Well, I think you're right. Competence has got to be the main guide to who gets the top jobs. And Narendra Modi demonstrated in his cabinet appointments to date that competence is a thing that he cares about most. And he's always been quite cautious in his cabinet appointments, and I would expect that to continue. But at the same time, the overall picture, the inclusiveness of the cabinet, says something about the inclusiveness of the nation. And Narendra Modi has indeed won a commanding victory. This is a very sweet moment for him. And just looking at some of the elevated shots you were showing of the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan, it brought to mind some American presidential inaugurations in terms of its ambition and political statement. And I think that's a reminder that although India has had parliamentary elections and a parliamentary system, the focus was so greatly on Narendra Modi that he can reasonably claim that he's got a bigger personal mandate than any politician anywhere in the world. But I think he still needs to demonstrate the inclusiveness. I'm not quite convinced that it's there yet.
Amy Kasman, people are talking about Modi 2.0 as, right, I'm told that we don't have her with us right now. Let me take this to R.K. Upadhyay. When we talk about a new dispensation, when we say that Modi was an outsider the last time, but now, and I also want to draw the attention of our viewers to these images, Mukesh Ambani along with his wife Neeta Ambani walking in, the who's who of India certainly attending this, Ram Madhav there, who's been instrumental in the party making inroads in the northeast and Jammu and Kashmir, among other places. We've seen a whole host of dignitaries arriving. The event begins at 7 p.m., so it's still about 45 minutes to go. And some of the VIPs, in terms of the people who've been elected, have also come here. And the point I was making, R.K. Upadhyay, is that when you talk about this government doing something radically different, others say that this is a mandate for continuity. People want more of the same. They were happy with what Modi did in his first term, and they would want him to build on that. So do you see more continuity or do you see disruption?
Palki, I think it will be both. Because in 2014, what we saw was, a complete outsider coming and becoming the Prime Minister. It was for the first time that as somebody who was just a Chief Minister for about 12 years of Gujarat, and then, he took over the party, BJP, and then propelled it to majority for the first time in 33 years. A single party getting the majority in 33 years. And that was the achievement of BJP. This, I think, mandate is more for Mr. Modi, because people have seen what his government has done in the last 5 years, and they want more of good work that was done during the first period. The challenge will be for Mr. Modi to see that what more can he do. I think there are lots of issues which needs to be tackled, and the very fact that he's invited leaders from the BIMTEC countries is very, very significant. Last time when he was sworn in, he brought in SAARC leaders to ensure that there is greater cohesiveness with the neighboring countries. Of course, it didn't happen to a great extent because of our relations with Pakistan, which deteriorated in spite of the efforts he made to have good relations with Pakistan. Now he's looking at a broader picture. He's trying to reach out to the BIMTEC countries. I think more because of the economic and strategic reasons. So this is going to be, I think the foreign policy initiative that this government is going to take, and we need to see who all are going to join this government. First, I think the most curious this thing will be on the finance ministry. Yes. Mr. Arun Jaitley has made himself unavailable, and last night the Prime Minister went and talked to him.
We'll come to ministries one by one. I want to get in Amy Casman here, and we have dignitaries, heads of state from 14 countries, and a lot of diplomats also present, and we're looking at what the press is writing elsewhere in the world. Amy, how does the world see the swearing-in ceremony and the second term of Narendra Modi? What do they expect?
I mean, look, obviously the end of the election and the landslide victory of Prime Minister Modi ends a period of serious political uncertainty where there was a question hanging over the, the political future of the country. So now that uncertainty has been removed, and we have a situation where you definitely have a stable government, and you know that this is a government that is going to continue for the next 5 years. India is a country that in the past has seen a lot of political instability, short-lived governments, fragile and fractious coalitions. Obviously that changed in 2014, where Prime Minister Modi won the first single-party majority of any government in 30 years since Rajiv Gandhi in 1984, which was on a huge sympathy wave on the back of his mother's assassination. After that, there was a lot of coalition governments, political instability. Then you had 2014, which a situation of, 5 years of political stability, where you never wondered, is the government going to fall if they do this or if they do that, or will they be able to go ahead? Then there was some feeling that maybe in this election, India would revert back to kind of a more coalition situation, like characterized the 10 years of the UPA, and that the BJP may not be able to retain the kind of majority that it had, and it would have more allies. Of course, now we've seen that that's not true. The BJP has come back with a stunning second back-to-back single-party majority. So I think now all eyes are wondering and waiting to see, with this strong and stable government, what measures will they take to really take the country forward, and how will they advance on what they've done in the first term, and will they, with their strong mandate, have the willingness to take what could be difficult decisions and that could involve short-term pain and some domestic political controversy, but that will bring long-term economic rewards. I think that's what the world is really waiting to see. With what will Prime Minister Modi and the new government do with this stunning mandate, and will they have the stomach for decisions that could be difficult, but that could really deliver long-term rewards and catapult India onto a higher growth trajectory.
Right. Even with a smaller mandate, I think this government has proven that they can take tough decisions and and focus on disruptive reform. But if seating arrangement sometimes has clues to who's getting what, Arun, when the victory speech happened at the BJP headquarters, we were talking about the people present on the stage, 6 people, along with Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. And now we're looking at the people on the dais, Smriti Irani, Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari. We also have R.K. Singh, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. We're playing those names on our ticker band there. Do you believe that these are the people who will definitely be part of the Council of Ministers?
Yeah, I think they will be part of the Council of Ministers. The interesting thing to see is that I saw in the visuals when Amy was talking, the visuals which were coming, JP Nadda had come. So, you know, if Amit Shah is getting inducted into the cabinet, so the BJP is looking for a new president. So if JP Nadda, I don't know whether he has reached the dais or not. He was meeting the
I didn't
guests.
see the name on the dais. No.
So if he is not on the dais, so I think most likely then we are looking at JP Nadda as the possible new BJP president.
Right.
So I think that is one key takeaway from
or they could change the constitution and have him do both, because his skills as an election winner remain unmatched.
No, but you know, it is unlikely because obviously Amit Shah will be given a very heavy portfolio. So to cope up with the party responsibilities as well as with the ministry, so that could be a little difficult for him. And also I believe there is a general consensus in the BJP that they need not change the constitution again and have a new president.
Right.
But anyway, Amit Shah would be playing a very significant role in the party affairs along with Narendra Modi. So it's not going to make much difference beyond a point that who is going to be the next BJP president. So ultimately it's a teamwork which they do it together.
Interesting. And this is a political red carpet of sorts, and I don't want to take a break with all these people just walking in and who's going with whom and the body language, and it all makes for very interesting viewing. Giriraj Singh there, who won from Begusarai, and Rajnath Singh, of course, who was Home Minister and maybe retained in the CCS. Nitish Kumar saying that they do not agree with the BJP's offer and have decided to stand with the NDA but not join the BJP government. That's the first breaking flash that we have for this evening. JDU will not join the BJP cabinet. They're calling it the BJP cabinet, Narendra Modi's cabinet. JDU is not going to be a part of it. They're not happy with the offer, they say. The Prime Minister, of course, had made it very clear that he's going to take everyone together. But the BJP has more than a simple majority, more than 300 MPs on their own. So they don't have to worry about allies and they want to accommodate them. We'll have to wait and see. We're waiting for the final names to emerge by later tonight. But who gets which portfolio is something that will have to be seen. S. Jaishankar sitting on the dais, and that's very interesting. Harsimrat Kaur Badal as well, and we have Ravi Shankar Prasad. So this will be this is the surprise so far of this evening. S. Jaishankar making it. I'm going to take a very short break at this point. We'll come back and we'll discuss more of this.